What's up, everybody? Taylor White here, and welcome back to the last and final episode of our transfer mode series, spray transfer and pulse spray. So as we know with the other transfer modes, we had short circuit, right? The only process that's our transfer mode that's dead shorting into the weld puddle. Then we have the globular, which is balling up that filler metal and throwing it across the arc, in large globs. That's why we call it globular. Now we have spray. Why do we call it spray? Because our voltage and our wire feed speeds are going to be higher. Both of them are going to be higher. We're going to reach that transition current. The arc length is going to be longer because we have that higher voltage. And it's basically going to vaporize this filler metal and throw it in a spray, right? Just like you would have a spray bottle, small little particles across the arc into the weld puddle. Why do we do this? Well, now we can reach the maximum penetration, the maximum fusion we can with a GMAW setup, one of these MIG welders, right? So for spray transfer, we have a couple of requirements. One is, and it's about the only real one, you have to have a machine that's capable to hit those higher voltages and those higher wire feed speeds, but we also need at least 80% argon. 90% argon is ideal. You get the best arc characteristics out of the 90% argon, but a minimum of 80% is required for spray transfer. For pulse spray, you have to have the machine that's capable to do it. So, first things first, we're gonna get our gear on. Now let's get to welding. So with spray, it's a really hot weld, right? So we're getting the maximum amount of fusion, maximum amount of penetration we can get out of GMAW. But also, a couple of things we have to think about is, since we have this massive amount of heat, now we have a very fluid and hot puddle. So again, you're limited in kind of the positions you can get in. You really want to stay flat, horizontal, even on a downhill vertical weld, you're going to be trying to outrun the weld puddle as it's falling, then you are really going to be fusing those two pieces together. So how do we get the maximum amount of fusion penetration that we get out of spray, but get into being able to weld out of position? Now they introduced pulsed spray. So pulse spray is just has an amount of on-off time for the arc. There's enough transition current that we're depositing filler metal, we're creating a spray transfer, and then there's enough background current on the off side that we maintain an arc. So we get microseconds of weld puddle cooling, and now we get the flexibility to get into those out of position welds. So let's check out pulse spray. One of the other downsides to spray is that you're limited into how much problems can we actually weld through. So with this being a big arc, we're not short circuiting, it's not a cold weld, we really can't weld poor fit ups, we can't weld big gaps, we can't do open roots. You need everything fitting nice and tight together for you to get a nice, successful, accurate, good weld. But with that pulse spray method, we get the advantage now that we can weld out of position, we can weld overhead, we can do maybe a vertical up if we turn the heat down enough to get more control out of it. But in a flat horizontal position, spray welding and pulse spray really excel in welding thick materials. So that's the end of our transfer mode series. We have globular, or So that's the end of our transfer weld series. We have our short circuit, globular spray, and pulse spray when we have a machine that's capable of doing the pulse spray method. We use these in a variety of applications, from when we're in a certain transfer mode for thinner materials, for different situations, maybe a poor gap, maybe poor fit up, maybe a large gap that we have to bridge, to having to weld thicker materials and really needing that more penetrating, more fusion in our welds for a more sound structural weld. And we get that through going through the different transfer modes and achieving those. So if you enjoyed this video, give a like, give a follow, share it with your friends and family. And if you're interested in taking one of our welding classes, go online to cksupply.com, check out our training section. We post the calendar there for a few months out of the year at a time. The next one should be coming out soon. So get your name in, email us, email me, and we'll log you in. We'll get you in one of these classes and give you more hands-on experience to really dive into all this knowledge. So thanks guys for joining. We'll see you next time.